What I love, though, is that even though Void is, he's looking dominant, I love the play from the other players. They're playing super well. They're finding out. I think something that's cool about Pokemon, especially compared to a game like Smash, which is Void's main game, is the fact that your preparation is a big deal in the sense of team selection, right? Like your character is always not always going to have the same tools like it does in Smash. But enough about Void. This is kind of the Void show for a little bit. We're taking a break. Our next match is Jaden versus Ludwig. So we saw Jaden's team last round. Aaron, you've seen the team in action now. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I really like how she played that match. I thought, it was Void put some very scary stuff in her face, and then, she played coolly and calmly and tried to find out. It didn't work, but now she's got another chance. And I think that this is going to be a really cool match.
Absolutely, and it's our first time seeing Ludwig here on the broadcast, and we see Ludwig's team, our first Dondozo of the day, with some other interesting Pokemon as well. Jan, kind of walk us through. What do you think about this team? What's your eye drawn to?
So I think the Dondozo is just the obvious, or not obvious, but the main strategy to almost go for here. It's the most popular one at the beginning. I think the Dondozo lead, he's not up against a Murkrow here, which is the main counter to this, right?
Yes.
So it's going to be interesting to see how Jaden chooses to deal with this. I actually think the Toad School can do a lot of work in this matchup.
I agree. It's Terra Water Toad School, so you can get the resistance to Wave Crash. It's you can Spore. I guess there's 2 Spore immunities, but you can Spore 4 of the Pokemon, right? There's not really good Spore counterplay. And you also have the Unaware Skeletor, right? Which is another good user of Terra, because with Terra, you ignore Dondozo's boost, and you can kind of solo it a lot of the time.
So I think actually the matchup seems pretty good for Jaden here. The Dondozo strat has some answers, even though it's not maybe the most obvious one.
No, I totally agree.
Personally, I was just going to say, I really like the Tatsugiri Soak Choice Scarf with Masquerada next to it, where in the first turn you can just turn someone into a water type and then blow them up. I think that could be something that they don't expect to happen, but I think it could be really super interesting.
Ooh,
Ludwig very engaged. Big stretch.
He's hyper-focused right now.
It's so insane. Look at that. Is that a flip phone?
Oh,
no,
my
God.
Okay.
I think when you're playing Dondozo, well, with and against Dondozo, the first question you have to ask yourself in this team preview stage that we're getting to, if you're playing it, what am I doing against it? And if you're using it, okay, can they beat this? What tools do they have? And Ludwig might just say, let's leave it at home.
Yeah, you have to respect it, right? That's the thing about Dondozo, is it commands respect. And the thing about Dondozo is the Dondozo player has the advantage in the sense that they get to choose when they pull the trigger, when they get Dondozo in. But they have the disadvantage of once they put it in, that thing's stuck. They can't switch it out. There's nothing you can do to get rid of it. And so if your opponent has really bulky Skeletor or Toad School, you're just stuck sitting there, and that can leave you pretty vulnerable in my opinion. So I think it'll be really interesting to see how the players approach this matchup, right? Where you have this central threat, this big Dondozo. And for anyone who doesn't know, the way that Dondozo works is, because we're going to be seeing a fair bit of it, we should probably explain what it does. Dondozo is a unique mechanic where if it's on the field of Tatsugiri, Tatsugiri jumps into Dondozo's mouth and gives it a +2 boost in all its stats. At this point, Tatsugiri can't attack, the battle becomes a 1-against-2, and Dondozo can't switch out. And so basically, Dondozo becomes Exodia. It becomes incredibly powerful at the cost of being a 1-against-2 and being unable to switch out. And so it's so strong. It has the spread move Earthquake. It can boost its stats further with Order Up. It has the powerful attack Wave Crash. That it's a very central kind of pillar of this format. But it has counterplay because it's so centralizing. There's some interesting Pokemon on Ludwig's team as well. So we see some Pokemon that we don't see as much of. I'm really interested in the Safety Goggles Terrafire Will-O-Wisp Tauros. And this Life Orb Mimikyu as well.
All right, preparations complete.
I think the Mimikyu is kind of a sleeper pick in this
I agree.
tournament. There's actually not that many super consistent counters to it, I feel like.
Yeah, and Jaden has 3 Dark types, and it's a Life Orb Play Rough user, so I like that call out a lot. Do you all think we're going to see Toad School this game? That's really what I want to know.
I feel like Jaden's going to go for it.
Yeah.
It's a great choice. It matches up so well into everything Ludwig has, except for the Tauros. But
and the Meowscarada, it's a little...
And the Meowscarada. But, otherwise...
Oh, we haven't even talked about the Annihilate, y'all. The Annihilate is a big deal here because it's Choice Scarf Final Gambit, and Jaden locking in immediately. Did they both lock in immediately? They know what they're doing.
Straight up. I didn't even catch what they were leading
I didn't see what Ludwig did.
Yeah. Hang on. Okay, we got to talk about this trainer card. What's going on there?
So, not every player actually has their own Switch. Some are using my Switch. Buster and Marbles.
Okay, so we see no Dondozo lead and no Toad School lead here.
That's
so
right.
Both of them kind of playing into the mind games here a little bit, I think. The Mimikyu is really threatening at this point.
Yeah. I love the Annihilate lead here because U-turn actually breaks the disguise on Mimikyu and will bring Meowscarada into Focus Sash. So it's going to be really interesting to see how Jaden utilizes this position.
Yeah, I really like this lead. It's very versatile from Jaden because if there is a Dondozo, she has a lot of threat for it. But if she doesn't, she can still switch around a lot.
This was one of my favorite leads when I had these Pokemon on my team.
Yeah. Mimikyu is sitting so nice here because even if, she doubles up into it, it's probably going to survive.
Yeah, thanks to disguise. Ludwig taking his time here, thinking it through. Terastallizing.
Terra turn 1, okay.
Interesting. I wonder what type we're going to see here. It is the Mimikyu.
Ooh.
Ghost.
Ooh. He's just going for damage.
He's going for damage, I guess. I wonder if we might see like a Shadow Sneak Sucker Punch into Annihilate, but it's not impossible. U-turn, okay, no. But it survives thanks to the Focus Sash. Okay, Annihilate now has a choice here because if something has to switch in here, right? And Toad School doesn't look that strong, but at the same time, you don't want Skeletor to come into a Ghost and Dark type, right?
Yeah, no, that's really tricky. I think it might be Toad School's time.
Yeah. The Mimikyu just hits so much on Jaden's team. It's actually really rough. It's a really good lead by Ludwig.
Knockoff from Meowscarada. Ooh. Disguise busted. I like that the hat is now on upright. It's like a really cute little touch before it's sideways. And I like the decision to take out the Life Orb. Knockoff taking out the Sash here. Ton of damage.
Yeah, that's rough.
What is Mimikyu going for? Is it Shadow Sneak? Is it Play Rough? It's Shadow Claw. Terra goes Shadow Claw into Skeletor.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay, it survives.
Okay.
I'm a little surprised by that, actually.
Yeah.
Skeletor's just a beefy lad.
He eats his Wheaties.
But now it's very threatened by both sides here.
Yeah.
And Skeletor's almost like, she almost has to protect it, right? And now, what is Meowscarada doing? It's just a lot of tempo for Ludwig's side right now.
Yeah, it was. I really liked the position from Jaden's side with the lead, but I feel like Lud's really kind of turned this around pretty quickly.
Yeah. It's so tough when you have Meowscarada in front of another Meowscarada and they both know Sucker Punch.
Yeah.
And something like this happens.
Yep.
Ludwig protecting Meowscarada. Jaden protecting Skeletor. Where is the targeting this turn? Meowscarada going for Sucker Punch into Mimikyu. Picks up the KO!
That's so huge.
What a play from Jaden. That was almost the perfect play she could make.
Yeah. Losing the Fairy typing and therefore exposing itself to the Dark type weakness, and Jaden taking full advantage of that immediately.
Absolutely.
This is huge.
We kind of see both sides of Terra there, right? Where like on the first attack, you get this bonus damage in Shadow Claw, and you're like, this is great. Yep. And then next turn, you reach a Sucker Punch, and you're like, no, this sucks.
Me sowing, me reaping.
Me sowing, me reaping.
So let's see
thumbnail. Uh-oh.
Such a good Pokemon name.
I hope it's because it does react faces. And now we have our first mind game. So Jaden obviously can go for Sucker Punch in the Meowscarada, but if Ludwig switches that into Tatsugiri, the attack will be wasted and she'll be extremely exposed. Hashtag exposed?
But, what I really like about Dondozo is it creates this ambiguity. It's like, is Meowscarada going to stay in or switch? And that's something occupying her thoughts right now.
Yeah.
The other thing worth noting is that Sucker Punch, if Jaden locks into Sucker Punch here, interesting.
She's going to Flower Trick. Okay,
chooses not to target the Meowscarada.
Oh man, I'm so nervous about how that Skeletor is just sitting there.
I know.
Like, right for
Ludwig stays in. He doesn't take the bait for the Tatsugiri.
And we see Terra on Skeletor. Okay.
Terra Fairy.
Yep.
I like the Terra here a lot because if it's knockoff, you don't want to Flower Trick this slot, right? It was a fire type. So if it's knockoff, you'll likely survive. And going for a Slack off this turn, Sucker Punch comes out and fails. A great play by Jaden.
Yep.
I like the Sucker Punch from Ludwig too because you always have the chance to win the Sucker Punch speed tie and cancel out, but an amazing play. Critical hit Flower Trick does a ton of damage. Slack off. Wow.
Things are looking dire from Ludwig's side.
Yeah, but it was a good play. Like I like the play, and yeah, I mean it makes a lot of sense. Earthquake doing more damage.
It's one way to get Meowscarada off the field.
Yeah, one way to get Tatsugiri in.
Something to note about the Meowscarada matchup against the Dondozo as well is because Flower Trick always crits, it will always go through those defense boosts on the Dondozo, even if it has its ability activated.
Absolutely.
So you always have consistent damage in it.
And even though Dondozo is about to boost its speed, well, presumably it can boost its speed by 2 stages, Meowscarada is actually so fast that it will outspeed even with the boost.
Yeah, it's a fantastic counter here.
Clickbait thumbnail. This is probably Tatsugiri.
all right. I see it.
I think those there should be an award for best nicknames, and that should win it right now.
We have it.
I think the way most players escape from Meowscarada's Flower Trick pressure is terrestrialization.
Exactly.
But he blew it turn 1.
Yeah. And it makes sense, right? You really want that damage on Annihilate. You really want to just take it out immediately. It's a really threatening Pokemon.
Yep.
And it makes sense wanting to go for it immediately. 2 seconds, I thought, okay, yeah.
It's what makes Tatsugiri so annoying is if it's in Dondozo's mouth and you attack it, your attack misses.
Yeah.
Oh, so you have to make sure you don't misclick.
Which is in any other situation where, like, let's say this was a 1 against 2 and there was no partner, the attack would automatically get redirected. Tatsugiri is the one case where that is not the case. So
I gotta tell my coachee that.
Yeah.
Where's Saikudo?
So the Protect from Ludwig pretty much just delaying the inevitable here. This is so good for Jaden.
Yeah.
The Meowscarada is just so threatening. You don't have any Terra available to protect yourself from it.
Yeah.
Not really sure what he can do here.
Yeah, the Terra Steel would normally be pretty good, but I mean, in this position, it's difficult, right? Like, you don't have a way around. You don't have Terra available. So Flower Trick, as you mentioned, ignoring the defense boost, doing so much damage, and Skeledirge here to pick it up just in case.
Yeah.
This is like, I've been in the Dondozo player's seat like so many times.
It feels so bad.
It feels so bad. Like, and I think it really just speaks to like how well crafted Jaden's team is. You know, there are so many Dondozo answers just like woven into the fabric of the team.
And Jaden kind of brought 4 Dondozo answers. Final Gambit Annihilate, Spore, and Rage Powder on the Toadstool. Flower Trick, Meowscarada, it lives. And Unaware Skeledirge. So
incredibly hard matchup for Ludwig.
For Lud, a tough one for sure.
Very interested to see how he takes it into game 2.
Do you think there's anything Ludwig could have done to turn that game around?
It would have been really tough.
Yeah.
I think that, so turn 1, Lud attacked into the Annihilate, and I feel like maybe it would have been better to go after the Meowscarada there because Annihilate is probably going to U-turn. It's good into Meowscarada and it's good into Mimikyu, and so I think that maybe targeting the Meowscarada, just like it's easier, I think, to eliminate Meowscarada as a Dondozo answer than it is to eliminate anything else. Like to eliminate Annihilate, which probably isn't staying in anyway.
Yeah, and I feel like using up the Terra turn 1 with Mimikyu as well. It was strong and it gave him an initial lead, but using that up and then also having it die immediately just set him back a lot.
Absolutely.
Because that was the one defense that his Dondozo had.
Yeah.
So when you're playing against Dondozo, every turn that you don't see Dondozo, you have to think, what happens this turn if Dondozo gets the field? Like Ludwig could at any point have just switched out both Pokemon
and set it up. Yeah.
But when you're on the Dondozo player's side, you have to think, when do I rip it?
Because you can't change, right? Like as soon as you decide to launch that thing, it's stuck on the field, and so knowing when to. I feel like this is a focused guy. That's the vibe that I'm getting here.
He's putting like calcs in on his phone.
He's running. He's like,
running the Sims.
He's asking ChatGPT. Okay, the opponent has Toadstool, King Gambit.
That's so funny.
I think Jaden looks dialed in. I like the way that she's. I like that she has she has a game lead to play with, and she looks much more comfortable here.
I think what I'd really like to see from Ludwig is like a new way for this to go, and I think that leaving Dondozo on the bench is exactly what that could be.
Oh my god, he named the Gastrodon Slime. I love that.
So I think right now Ludwig has only Tatsugiri locked in, right?
Yeah. I think that's actually something we see from experienced Dondozo Tatsugiri players sometimes, just knowing when you only need to bring one. My friend Marcus, actually, who is Jaden's coach, recently entered a regional when I was practicing with him. He never brought Dondozo and Tatsugiri together. It was like the most, like he was like, oh, I didn't even, like, he knew you could combine them, but he played it as if he never like intended to combine them, which is, I think, really, really cool.
Yeah, that's crazy.
The thing about Ludwig's team, and I like that he's actually using Tatsugiri with that Dondozo, is because the Choice Scarf Tatsugiri is just very vulnerable. You know what I mean? Like, it's so much harder to use it as a Pokemon that isn't just swallowed by Dondozo. And so I kind of like that he's mixing it up here.
Yeah, absolutely. I like, like there was a plan in game 1, and now it didn't work. Let's totally try something different.
Yeah.
I'm really interested to see how Tatsugiri and Mimikyu work together.
Yeah.
I think that will be pretty interesting. Because, this Choice Scarf Tatsugiri working with that Meowscarada, like, I know how that's going to go. I have no intuitions for how this is going to go.
Yeah.
So, I'm excited.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that it makes a lot of sense, though, because we've talked about how strong Mimikyu is offensively, right? Yep. And if that Choice Scarf Tatsugiri has Icy Wind, which I believe it does, I'm fairly certain it has Icy Wind.
Yeah.
That actually puts on a lot of pressure. You can Icy Wind and Play Rough and KO Meowscarada before it even gets an attack off. And so Jaden may be really relying on an Annihilate here to cover things. Same lead from Jaden, but a switch up from Ludwig.
So what you have to be careful with this Tatsugiri is Annihilate actually does move first.
Yeah,
if I'm not
the Choice Scarf.
Yep.
The other factor is Jaden doesn't know if she has Dondozo in the back.
Exactly.
Yes.
You would assume. Of course they have Dondozo.
Yeah. But You would be surprised.
Yep.
You would be surprised. One would be surprised.
Yes.
And I think this turn's crucial because what we don't talk about a lot, or we haven't talked about too much, because Annihilate is so flexible with its... actually, we saw it a little bit earlier from Jaden, is that if when a Pokemon with a Choice Scarf locks into a move, they're stuck doing that. So if Tatsugiri gets stuck into a move that isn't very useful, it can easily end up just feeling a little exposed, feeling a little vulnerable, you know? Like, it doesn't have the same flexibility that Pokemon like Meowscarada or Mimikyu have, like, with the freedom to change their moves. Shadow Sneak. Oh, interesting. Not even going for the Icy Wind, locking into perhaps Draco Meteor?
I love this.
I like this a lot.
Yeah.
Breaking the disguise.
This is great. Like, I'm done with Meow Meow. I want it out.
I'm done.
Now, yeah.
Especially after how much work it did last game.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
It was so good last game.
It's a great way to fix your problems, right?
Yeah.
Just KO them.
Ooh, but...
Do we see the Toad School now?
I mean, Toad School's looking kind of good here. Very specially bulky.
How would you...
I like it because the Mimikyu's already attacked for the turn, so you're not really under any pressure. They're not going to surf, right?
For sure.
Icy Wind, though.
Ooh.
Not enough.
Oh, that's good.
No way.
It's going to make things tough, though.
It's trading, like... I think Lud probably expected to double up into Mimikyu, and with no Protect, he did the best he could, right? He took the damage he could take.
But...
Oh,
it hangs on.
Barely staying alive.
And it's not going to KO itself now because it doesn't have
the Life Orb. Yeah, because the
yeah.
Icy Wind, Sucker Punch is now slower than Shadow Sneak.
Yep.
I do believe Meowscarada takes one more Icy Wind.
It's going to be close, yeah.
If I saw that damage correctly.
So here's the thing, is that Meowscarada is actually not in Overgrow range because it needs to be at 1/3 of its health, and it's a little bit above that.
Yep. We see a Protect on Skeletors from Jaden here. The Icy Wind on the Skeletor is not really mattering, I think. I'm not sure what the speed matchup with Mimikyu is.
It's probably fast Mimikyu.
Yeah.
The Skeletors is pretty slow. Mimikyu is Life Orb. We saw it, like, took even a lot for the knockoff there. It probably doesn't matter, but it could matter for the other Pokemon. There's one thing I want to call out, actually, which is that Tatsugiri is now locked into Icy Wind.
Yep.
Annihilate's ability is Defiant, meaning every time it gets a stat lower, it gets an attack boost. And Ludwig has Tauros in the back who has Intimidate, which means that Ludwig could easily get stuck between a rock and a hard place and be forced to give Annihilate Defiant boosts.
Yeah, the Annihilate switch actually looks pretty decent here.
Yeah,
Sucker Punch to get rid of
coming
Mimikyu.
out.
Makes sense.
Probably means no Shadow Sneak, because I think Mimikyu likely would have outsped. But the question is Tatsugiri going to pick up the KO here with Icy Wind?
Could miss.
Could miss.
That would
be unfortunate.
Be real bad.
Alrighty.
Alrighty.
That's close.
So, I want to think about what's happening later. Like if Annihilate comes in and does get Icy Wind and does get that attack boost, then Ludwig's Meowscarada will outspeed it.
Yeah. That's right. And then it can, we still have Terra available this game, which is a big difference from last game.
But she has decided to unspool the cool.
Oh,
what do you think about that? Pretty good. All right.
7 out of 10.
I think
Too much water.
Getting pity laugh vibes.
Risky of Ludwig to bring in Tauros here because we know that it's Annihilate as the Pokemon, but he actually finds a way to bring it in without accidentally activating the Defiant ability. Thank you.
Yep.
And it's not the most relevant thing, but Tatsugiri is, Icy Wind is 4 times effective on Toad School actually with Icy Wind.
It is going to do a lot of damage.
Toad School is a tanky beast, though. I know it'll survive. I'm a little bit worried about this Terra Fairy because I'm not sure what Ludwig has to really counter this. To begin with, but also now that all the cards are on the table, we know that the last Pokemon is she doesn't know. The last Pokemon is Meowscarada, but it's going to have a real tough time here. Yeah, although Flare Blitz is now on the table, right? It wasn't a second ago. Yeah, and we saw this in the matchup against Void with Jaden. Her team kind of has trouble hitting fire types. Yeah. The Skeletor is completely walled by it. Wait, he close combated the ghost type. I guess making the read, kind of. Or maybe predicting a switch. That wouldn't make sense either. Never mind. Yeah, I think... It worked. That's what mattered. It was not a bad play. Here's an upside of that is that Skeletor actually ignores those defense drops with its ability unaware. Very true. So, you're kind of free to go for it. That's right. The risk was not the worst thing in the world. And now Lud actually in a decent position because now he's opened up Icy Wind and Flare Blitz and picking up the KO on Toad School. There's not really counterplay to that. Yeah, here's the rough part for Jaden, though, is those safety goggles are going to block that Spore. That's right. And it makes it through the turn. It's so tough when you're, in the heat of the moment to, go back through their sheet, read that item, and then, remember that even though you have this dope ability, it doesn't block something. Yeah. Totally.
if you're on the timer as well, just taking that extra breath, looking at the cheat one more time, thinking about items as well, going down that checklist. What's the ability? What's the item? What's
exactly
the
for every Pokemon, for every turn. It's so easy to miss.
Yeah.
To be fair, though, I mean, she doesn't have that much of a better move, right?
Ooh,
switching out.
But
interesting.
This attack is going to be. Oh wait.
She also could have been predicting the Dondozo switching in. That's actually worth noting, right? Like
that's true.
Yeah, like because if Dondozo came in here and Scarlet took too much damage.
Yep.
Terra Blast coming out. And I love Ludwig's adjustment here because now he has 2 Pokemon that basically invalidate Toad School.
Yep.
It can't do anything against these 2.
Yep.
And you get to send Tatsugiri in again for another, potential
different
Draco.
attack. Yeah.
Yep.
Draco Meteor.
Well,
yeah.
maybe not to Skeletor.
Surf. Or Soak.
Yes.
Definitely.
Because the Spore hit Protect, Jaden actually did not get the
information.
Text block,
yeah.
but the safety goggles are there, so she might go for this play again next turn.
Yeah. 100%.
Here's the issue, though, for Jaden, is that now Meowscarada's at 1 HP, which activates Overgrow, and Ludwig still has that Terra available, so Skeledirge might be facing a lot more damage than it wants to right now.
Yeah, and there's nothing for this. There's nothing to do with this Toad School except try and cover a switch, right? Like,
Yep. Toad School, because Meowscarada is Grass type and Taurus has those safety goggles, it can't even Rage Powder attacks away.
Yeah, it has, and unfortunately, its only attack is Mirror Coat, and both these attackers are physical.
Yep.
Yeah, the Toad School's just kind of countered here at this point. This looks really good for Ludwig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, the Taurus has that defense drop, and that could end up a Terra. Oh, is it Terra Grass?
Yep.
Oh, wow. Ludwig really applying pressure now.
Yep. And the thing is that for Jaden, this Toad School, as cute as it is, and as strong as it is, right now, it's actually harming her more than it's helping her.
That's right.
Do you think this is enough damage to KO Skeletor?
I do, actually. Terra Grass, Overgrow.
So strong. How much does it do?
Oh,
wow.
Yep.
And the question is Toad School going to survive this turn? Because I think you want to have another Pokemon alive. You don't want Toad School to go down yet. Because Annihilate basically has to win a 3 versus 1, right? It can KO all the Pokemon.
Oh my god. She's not even going to know about the safety goggles now.
Yeah.
Maybe that's better for her mental, actually.
Yeah.
But I guess it is information that she needs for Game 3.
But here's the thing. Annihilate can KO every Pokemon. And if Ludwig, I don't know, like he could protect one Pokemon or Annihilate was max HP here, so it's pretty bulky. And Close Combat, it KOs everything, right? So if he gets a turn correct, or if Jaden gets a turn correct, she could feasibly bring this back. I don't think it's over by any means.
Yeah.
What move would you all lock here?
Close Combat every day of the
Really?
week. Yeah.
Why not Rage Fist? Because Close Combat, you're on a clock.
That's true. I guess it depends.
And you would need Tatsugiri to miss a move. And so if she locks Rage Fist here, eats a Sucker Punch, 100 base power. Eats a Close Combat, 150.
Yeah.
Sorry, like a Flare Blitz.
Yeah.
I mean, Primate or Annihilate is pretty bulky, so there's a chance.
Oh, Defiant! He's activating Defiant!
Oh no!
Wait, yes, but later.
Yeah.
That's a surprise trick that will help Jaden later.
Rage Fist, correct targeting, by the way. I don't think this was an easy choice in terms of targeting, but she calls it correctly. Meowscarada goes down.
Difficult on both sides.
Difficult on both sides.
Insanely challenging.
Yes. And now, what was a 3 against 1 is a 2 against 1. Is it possible Jaden can bring this back?
Oh.
I think Ludwig's best way in. Oh, he realizes. Look at that. He knows.
Yeah.
Oh, no. He knows. Oh.
But Ludwig has a move on his Taurus that could help, which is Will-O-Wisp, right? Cutting Rage Fist power and not giving it a stack, right? This is still only 50 BP Rage Fist.
Yes, I was also thinking about Flare Blitz Burn, but that's a faster way to get there.
Same end goal, yeah.
Yes, I do think you have to take this Tatsugiri out here.
100%.
No
It can't protect,
Yep.
It was a 3 against 1. It was a 2 against 1. It's a 1 against 1.
This is close.
This is really close.
So it actually ends up that her selecting Rage Fist over Close Combat
is what wins the game. Yeah.
Otherwise, she would be -2 defense now.
Oh, and Annihilate survives. Is it going to burn? I don't know if Rage Fist kills. It depends on how it's trained.
It's only 100 base power, right?
It's only 100, but it's +1.
It's +1.
But it's no attack EVs on Annihilate.
And I'm going to guess that Taurus is pretty bulky.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Here we go. Rage Fist. Does it survive? Oh.
Jaden taking it.
What a comeback, though.
That
One
was
Annihilate
tough.
with only Choice Scarf. And again, I would have locked Close Combat there. I 100% would have. I would have said I KO, Meowscarada with Close Combat. I KO Taurus with Close Combat. And I pray that Tatsugiri misses a move. Jaden finds a win condition that doesn't even rely on that. It correctly calls Ludwig to make the moves that he's going to make, right? To switch out Taurus and attack with Meowscarada. If that had been reversed and it had been a Will-O-Wisp, game could have been totally different.
It was not easy.
It was not an easy win condition to find at all. And I think both players played pretty well, but
Wolf, there's too much to fucking remember, bro. There's too much to remember.
It's hard.
I thought I was a genius. I played Gen 5 Ranbats.
Yeah.
You go in with your Intimidate, it's GG.
Yeah.
Defiant?
Yeah, a special case. Definitely.
Oh my god, I could have probably just won if I just hit her.
Yeah, it was gonna be close, but I mean, listen, like. After game 1, you found a really good path through game 2. I love the Tatsugiri Mimikyu lead. I think like taking out the Escarada early when it gave you so much trouble. Like sometimes it's not always about the result of the battle, but it's about how you played. And I think like I think that it's better to have overall played well and maybe gotten a little overwhelmed by all the information you have to keep track of at the end than to I don't know, like just feel like you didn't play like that badly,
I think at the end of the day, I have one opponent I'm trying to beat, and his name's Void.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely. And listen, man,
this is just a warm up.
Everyone in the group has one loss except for Void, right? And so you just have to be top 2 to make it out. So
just take out Void.
Just take out
Void.
he's not invincible.
Don't worry about it.
You got this.
You're gonna crush it.
You're gonna crush it.